writing equations from graphs in vertex form. So vertex form is the same thing as like when you're looking at the transformations where it has A, H, and K. The reason we call it vertex form is because if you think about, and I'm going to cover this up real quick if I could find something to cover it up with. So if you think about this form right here, this tells you what's inside of the parentheses, tells you how much to move left or right. This tells you how much to move up or down from the vertex. So if it told you to move right 3 and up 2, your vertex would be at 3, 2. So if you notice, the vertex is always at the opposite of H, or the opposite of what you see, comma K. Because this tells you how much to move left or right, and this tells you how much to move up or down. Remember, the x-axis is the one that's this way, and the y-axis is the one that's this way, so that's why it's in the order x, y. Okay, the A tells you how much to go up or down. Oh, that should say from, not for. From. Let me get my white out. From the first unit for the vertex. Man, I just messed up all sorts of places. For the vertex. And if you have it the other way, it's fine. It just was worded a little bit funny. Okay, so if I give you this graph, so if I gave you and then I asked you to write the equation in vertex form. So first thing you need to do is figure out where the vertex is. So it's back 2 and it's up 1. Okay, so our equation y equals, figure out the A first. So if it moves up 1 for the first unit, you can't do after that because remember it's a quadratic, it's going to square the information. So you can only do up however many for that first unit. So you want to look for this first unit. So for moving over 1, how much does it go up? Well, it goes up 1. For going over 1 unit, it goes up 1. So our A value would be 1. Remember, we don't have to write a 1 because it's always just automatically a 1 if there's nothing written. Then we're going to do X. Now, it moved left. So the way you actually write this mathematically, you just don't see this part because you always see the final. So X minus, I should have written that in blue, -2, which we keep talking about, it's just the opposite sign. So it's actually x plus 2 squared. And then our k value is up 1, so it would just be plus 1. So our final equation is y equals x plus 2 squared plus 1. Now, what I want you to do on these is to type it in your calculator and check. So we learned how to do that last week, so you're going to hit the y equals button, parentheses, x plus 2, close parentheses, squared, plus 1. Now hit second graph, or just graph, whichever, it doesn't matter. And that looks right. The reason you want to do this is if you put the wrong sign in, like if you put x minus 2 because you saw the -2 and forgot to take the opposite sign, when you type it in, you would see that it was over here instead of where it was supposed to be. So that's just a good way to check to make sure that you did write the correct equation. Okay? Let's go ahead and do another example. So let's do one over here. Let's go. figure out which direction it moved. So it went 1, 2, 3, down 1. So it's going to be y equals. First thing you need to do is find the a value. Before, like first thing in the equation is find the a value. So from the vertex, move over 1, and it went down 1, 2. So always over 1, and then down 1, down 2. So your a value is -2. X -3. Because it went right. Remember, if this is positive, then this needs to be negative. Squared. And then it moved down 1. I should have put a negative right there. So down 1. So that is my equation. It's -2 parentheses x -3 squared minus 1. Now on your assignment you are going to have to type this in. So in order to do so, the y equals is already there, so do not type the y equals. You are going to hit -2 parentheses x -3, just like you would think. Then you're going to hit Shift 6. So you're going to hit this button. It's called a caret button, and it is saying that what comes next is the exponent. So to do that, you're going to hit Shift 6, then you put the squared, and then -1. So this is how you would type in the computer. Okay, let's do another one. This is going to be our last one. Okay, if I just move it, let's go left. No, let's just go up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go over 1. Okay, so let's figure out how it moved. So the vertex did not move right or left. So all it did was move up 1, 2, 3, 4. And then our a value, if you notice, if I go over 1 unit, it's up 1/2. So up 1/2. On these, if it doesn't actually give you the values, just go based on what it looks like. So on the assignment, I either use a -1/2 or a +1/2. I didn't like try to trick you and do 1/3 or anything like that. So our equation would be y equals 1/2, because for going over 1 unit, it went up 1/2 of a unit. And then x. Now, it didn't move right or left any, so it's going to just be +0. And then squared. And then it moved up 4. So it's 1/2 x +0 squared +4. Since we have x +0, that's the same thing as just having x squared. So you could type it like this: 1/2 x squared and then +4. On today's assignment, it will accept whether you use +0 or if you just use this. It will accept either. But just know that in the future and on tests and quizzes and everything else, you won't typically see a +0. I wanted to put that 0 in there because you know that this vertex is at 0, 4. Okay, now to type this one in, you would do 1/2 x caret 6 + 4. Remember, I put caret 6, I'm sorry. Caret 2, this you get from hitting Shift 6. That's where I got messed up. Okay, so just make sure you know how to type those in. So you would do 1 divided by 2x caret 2 plus 4, and that would be your answer.